ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवतसेवया भगवतीरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। Hare Krishna. Today we are going through the verse 11 from the 9th chapter of the 3rd canto, Srimad Bhagavatam. Sambhakti yoga paribhavita hritsaroja ase shrute kshitapato nanunatha pumsam yadyadhyata urgaya vibhavayanti tattadvapu pranayase satanugrahaya. Okay, we'll see word to word transliteration because we have some time. Tvam, unto you, bhakti yoga, in devotional service, paribhavita, being 100% engaged, hrut, of the heart, saroje, on the lotus, ase, you reside, shruta ikshita, seen through the ear, pataha, the path, nanu, now, natha, O my lord, pumsam, of the devotees, yat, whichever, dhiya, by meditating, te, your, urugaya, O multi-glorious, vibhavayanti, they specially think of, tat, the very same, vapuhu, transcendental form, pranayase, do you manifest, sat anugrahaya, to show your causeless mercy. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Oh my Lord, your devotees can see you through the ears by the process of bona fide hearing, and thus their hearts become cleansed, and you take your seat there. You are so merciful to your devotees that you manifest yourself in the particular eternal form of transcendence in which they always think of you. Purport. The statement here that the Lord manifests himself before the devotee in the form in which the devotee likes to worship him indicates that the Lord becomes subordinate to the desire of the devotee, so much so that he manifests his particular form as the devotee demands. This demand of the devotee is satisfied by the Lord because he is pliable in terms of the transcendental loving service of the devotee. This is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 4.11, Ye yatha mam prapadyante tams tathaiva bhajamyaham. We should note, however, that the Lord is never the order supplier of the devotee. Here in this verse, it is particularly mentioned, Tvam Bhakti Yoga Paribhavita. This indicates the efficiency achieved through execution of mature devotional service or prema, love of Godhead. This state of prema is achieved by the gradual process of development from faith to love. On faith, one associates with bona fide devotees, and by such association, one can become engaged in bona fide devotional service, which includes proper initiation and the execution of the primary devotional duties prescribed in the revealed scriptures. This is clearly indicated herein by the word Shrutikshita. The Shrutikshita path is to hear from bona fide devotees who are conversant with Vedic wisdom, free from mundane sentiment. By this bona fide hearing process, the neophyte devotee becomes cleansed of all material rubbish, and thus he becomes attached to one of the many transcendental forms of the Lord as described in the Vedas. This attachment of the devotee to a particular form of the Lord is due to natural inclination. Each and every living entity is originally attached to a particular type of transcendental service because he is eternally the servitor of the Lord. Lord Chaitanya says that the living entity is eternally a servitor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Sri Krishna. Therefore, every living entity has a particular type of service relationship with the Lord eternally. This particular attachment is invoked by practice of regulative devotional service to the Lord. And thus, the devotee becomes attached to the eternal form of the Lord, exactly like one who is already eternally attached. This attachment for a particular form of the Lord is called Swarupa Siddhi. The Lord sits on the lotus heart of the devotee in the eternal form the pure devotee desires, and thus the Lord does not part from the devotee as confirmed in the previous verse. The Lord, however, does not disclose himself to a casual or unauthentic worshipper to be exploited. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 7.25. Naham prakasha sarvasya yogamaya samavritaha. Rather, by Yoga Maya, the Lord remains concealed to the non devotees or casual devotees who are serving their sense gratification. The Lord is never visible to the pseudo devotees who worship the demigods in charge of universal affairs. The conclusion is that the Lord cannot become the order supplier of a pseudo devotee, but he is always prepared to respond to the desire of a pure, unconditional devotee who is free from all tinges of material infection. Very wonderful. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने. नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशधारिणे. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा. हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुल्लङ्घयति गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमातां श्रीचैतन्यमीश्वरं. हरिः ओं तत्सत्. So it is a very wonderful verse which is explaining about three aspects, three very important aspects. That is, number one, bona fide hearing. So if we can hear attentively from the bona fide authorities, the Lord will manifest himself. How? By the execution of pure devotional service. So in between these two aspects, bona fide hearing and then execution, there is one more important aspect, that is we have to do we have the cleansing process. All our material desires will be cleansed off from the mind. So then only we can execute the pure devotional service, and then Lord will manifest. So in summary, what we can say is, at the end, it is mentioned in the purport, Lord is not the order carrier of anyone, whereas if a pure devotee calls or desires, he himself come from any planet, wherever he is performing the pastimes, he will just run away and sits on the heart of that pure devotee. So we saw many evidences in Srimad Bhagavata when Gajendra Moksha, during the pastime of Gajendra Moksha, when he was desperately calling the Lord out of pure devotion. Of course, there is a material necessity. It is said in the Bhagavad Gita, Chaturvida Bhajante Mam Jana Sukritino Arjuna Adho Jignasratati Jnani Bharatashava. So even he has that, he was calling out of so much pain Gajendra was calling. But even though it is not pure devotion, also, Lord, he was, even though he was performing pastimes with Mother Goddess of Fortune, he just left everything and ran for Gajendra. So, when a pure devotee, without having any material tinge of attachment, then why can't Lord will reciprocate? He will just sits on the heart of such pure devotees. So it is beautifully mentioned when when the pure devotee calls like that, he will take, as per the desire of the devotee, he will take a form. It is also mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavata, the similar verse in the 11th canto, 11th chapter, 28th verse. Tam Brahma Paramam Yoma Purusha Prakrute Para Avati Nasi Bhagavan Svecho Pata Prutat Vapuhu. So, Svecho Pata means Swa Icha Pata, according to the desires of his own self or his own pure devotees. Here, Swa means there is no difference between himself and his pure devotees. So, according to the desires of the pure devotees, Icha, according to the desires of that pure devotees, Upata, he will take that kind of form, he will accept that kind of different forms according to the desires of the devotees. So, when out of all incarnations, Lord Krishna is full, in complete. Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vishashyate. So in Isopanishad it is mentioned, right? Lord Krishna is complete in himself. There are many evidences in Treta Yuga, in Satya Yuga, in other yugas, whatever the desires, other yuga avatars were not fulfilling the devotees' desires, even though they are not pure, even though they are so materialistic people. All those desires were fulfilled by Lord Krishna when he appeared in the Dwapar Yuga. We know, if you take the desires of the sages of Dandakaranya forest, when you see the desire of Surpanaka, when she approached Lord Ramachandra, because other incarnations are for definite purpose and there were some limitations. When you see Lord Ramachandra, he was obliged because he was a Maryada Purushottama. He was a ideal ruler. He has to follow certain rules. Of course, Lord is beyond all these rules, but he wants to show that he is an ideal ruler, and so that yadyad acharati shrestha, all the common men will follow in the footsteps of Lord Ramachandra. He was accepting only one wife, and he was very much obliged to his words, Satyavak. He doesn't want to overcome his promises. So he was following, by his own will, he was following some rules. Whereas Lord Krishna is so perfect, and he want to show complete reciprocation. Here, this is the whole ruling word. This reciprocation is the ruling word in this whole translational purport. So he was showing the complete reciprocation of all the people who are approaching in various yugas for various yoga avatars. And when you see Surpanaka, she has a material desire, material lust, and later when she was not fulfilled. Later she appeared as the Kuja, and she was satisfied by Lord Krishna. And like that, when Atri Muni wants to see Lord in Dattatreya form, Lord appeared in that form. And when Hanuman wants to see Lord Ramachandra in Krishna himself, he fulfilled the desire. Again, when Bhishma Deva, when he wants to see the Lord with angry mood, chivalry mood, then he fulfilled the desire of Bhishma Deva. And like that, many, when Jambavan wants to fight with the Lord, he fulfilled by fighting for 18 days. And got married to his own daughter. again to fulfill. Again, the queens, they were so beautiful, 16,000 queens. But they were, when they were exhibiting, when they were trying to attract the Lord with their beauty, Lord is full. How much Lord is Atmarama means, Cupid, we all know that Cupid power is beyond our imagination. Even the highest demigods, when they want to control their senses, when they want to overcome the power of Cupid, it was highly impossible. Even though the person is so ugly, demoniac, they cannot overcome the influence of the Cupid. So that is the power of Cupid. The senses will be so much agitated. Even the great demigod like Lord Shiva. But Cupid lost his power out of frustration, and he left his bow and arrow uh, because of accepting his defeat in front of Lord Krishna. Such is the power. And when queens, the beautiful, extraordinary, beautiful queens were showing their beauty and trying to attract Krishna, they failed so because Cupid itself lost his power in front of Lord Krishna. That is the Atma Rama capacity of Lord Krishna. Whereas when queens understood that they are not able to attract Krishna with their, with that so-called beauty, they started worshipping with a lot of humility. Then Lord reciprocated. This is the perfect example of the Lord's reciprocation, when he will reciprocate. When we are trying on the mundane platform, we cannot achieve. That is called the pseudo devotion. Lord will not reciprocate. Lord is not the order carrier of such mundane desires. Whereas when these queens are with the humble attitude worshipping Lord Krishna to fulfill their desires, to accept them as the uh, part and parcel of Krishna, by the causeless mercy of Krishna, then Lord reciprocated and accepted as the queens. So, when the similar pastime happened, when Lord appeared as the Jagannath, Baldev, and Shubhadra, when Rohini Mata was narrating the pastimes of Vrindavana to the Dwarka Vasis, Jagannath and Baladev, they are not the bodies. They themselves are the souls, right? There is no difference between the body and the soul. So the internal feelings are shown outside. So in the form of eyes are growing big, and their body got shrunken, their heads melted into the body, in their transcendental forms. At that time, they are taking a unusual form of Jagannath Baldev, and then Shubhadra Mari also seeing the forms of Jagannath and Baldev, she also became like that. Then, when Narada ji came to know this transcendental form of Jagannath Baldev and Shubhadra, he approached and begged to the lordships, please, you appear again in these transcendental, most merciful, ecstatic forms, so that we can worship you eternally. And in the coming yugas, people are so fallen. Your ecstatic, merciful form is very much essential to such fallen souls. Then, to fulfill the desire of Narada ji, Lord again appeared as the Jagannath, Baldev, and Shubhadra. And again, when they appeared like that, see, Lord is perfect in reciprocation as Krishna himself. Then Jagannath is more merciful, right? So even whoever is approaching, Bhavagrahi Janardana, right? So even any devotee, no qualifications, whether they are Chandala or any person, wants to reciprocate. Whoever comes with his big eyes, he wants to, with his big eyes, he wants to peek through the hearts of the people and devotees, and he was trying, keep on trying to fulfill their desires. Like that, there is one devotee from Maharashtra. He knows that Lord is the origin of all avatars, all the demigods, each and every living entity. So when he wants to see uh, Lord Ganesha in the transcendental lotus face of Jagannath, understanding the mood, but the devotee could not see Ganesha. Then, understanding that upset mood of the devotee, immediately after the Snana Yatra, he appeared in the Gajanana Vesha. So we are every year we celebrate that pastime also. So when Lord has shown that Ganesha Vesha, the Gajanana Vesha, the devotee was very much satisfied and he completely offered dandavats and he was so much pleased. So Lord wants always to fulfill the devotee's desires, whatever. And when we see that Gajanana Vesha of Jagannath, it is said that any person can get rid of all three types of miseries which are arising from the mind or other living entities or the demigods. So we can be free from any kinds of. And when here it is mentioned that in the translation, to achieve that pure devotional service, to cleanse us of all the material desires or to overcome all these miseries, first we need is the bona fide hearing. So bona fide hearing, when Lord, when Vyasadeva, when he finished all the Vedas, when he split the main Veda into all four Vedas, Yajurveda, Samaveda, Rigveda, Atharvaveda, he summarized into Vedanta Sutras also, and then Upanishads. Then he started thinking, when he started thinking, these are high language, high Sanskrit, a common person, especially upcoming ages people, they are so mundane, they cannot understand this much deep philosophy. Then he wants to uh, write a literature which is very understandable, very readable, in easy language, even to a layman. Then, understanding the desire of Vyasadeva, immediately Lord Brahma expressed his pleasure and requested Vyasadeva to approach, to take the help of Lord Ganesha. Why he has done that means Vyasadeva is completely capable of fulfilling the literature by himself, or else his own son Sukadeva Goswami is there, or he has many talented disciples for the Vyasadeva. But Lord Brahma, for a particular reason, he asked Vyasadeva to approach Ganesha for fulfilling this task. So when Vyasadeva is a humble, bona fide acharya, wants to respect the instruction of Lord Brahma, he immediately, without second thought, went to Ganesha and asked for fulfilling the task, for completion of this task. Lord Ganesha uh, agreed to write, to help the fulfilling the literature, to write that literature, to actually to transcribe that whatever Vyasadeva is saying, but upon one condition: if there should not be any pause while narrating Srimad Bhagavata or Mahabharata. Then again he said that, okay, I will do that, but there is one counter condition. What's that? Vyasa replied, Vyasa Puvacha, Tam Devama Bhutva Likha Kvachit. Then Ganesha said, Om Ityuktva Ganeshopya Babhuva Kila Lekhakau. Means Ganesha agreed that Vyasadeva, what is the counter condition of Vyasadeva is, okay, I will tell without pause, but you have to pen it only if you completely understand it. Why I am mentioning this is when Ganesha started writing the Mahabharata and Srimad Bhagavatam without any pass, he completed whole 18 Puranas, everything he completed without any pass. That means there is a complete synchronization between the Vyasadeva is none other than Lord Narayana. So the bona fide hearing was there uh, for Ganesha. And without any passes, he completed whole Srimad Bhagavata and Mahabharata. That's how, when there was a bona fide hearing in the translation of this verse, when there was a bona fide hearing, the Lord will manifest himself. Here, Lord has manifested himself in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam. So it is a little bit philosophy. Try to be with me. So when Lord manifested himself in the literature which was written by Ganesha, uh, that's why it is accepted as the bona fide. And Lord Ganesha was performing, he was rendering service of glorifying Lord Krishna by glorifying his words that form a part of the Mahabharata. So, always demigods are the humble servants of the Lord. And when you see, there is a, even in Badrikashrama, if you go, you can see the place where Vyasadeva was narrating. And I'll share this picture. This is called the Ganesha cave near Badrikashrama, where he was continuously writing for 3 years. He took 3 years to complete the whole narration. That means Vyasadeva was without any pass, he was narrating for 3 years, and Lord Ganesha was writing. This is the Ganesha cave, and you can say Vyasadeva cave also next to that. And here is the Ganesha form, Lord Ganesha. So, on this auspicious day of Ganesh Chaturthi, we will glorify Lord Ganesha for his wonderful, consistent, determined service towards Lord Krishna in manifestation of this Srimad Bhagavatam. Yet pada pallava yugam vinidaya kumbha dvande pranama samaye saganadhiraja vignan vihantamalamasya jagatrayasya Govindamadipurusham tamaham bhajami. So, on this auspicious occasion, we can request Lord Ganesha to bestow his mercy upon all of us to render such a consistent service and make us part of the manifestation of Lord's pastimes in one form or other, so that we can also be determined and render some service in order to please the lordships. So whenever we can be able to do, whenever there are the blessings of the higher authorities. But whereas in the puppet, we should be very careful. It is mentioned that the Lord is never visible to the pseudo devotees who worship the demigods in charge of universal affairs. So because we should not think that they are the demigods, or the rulers of these or carriers of these universal affairs. If we don't worship demigods, they will be angry upon us. We should not be with that material fear, or we should not act like the pseudo devotees and worship the demigods. To that pseudo devotees, Lord will never be visible. Whereas when we ask for the blessings to go further in our devotion towards Lord Krishna, Lord will be very happy. And the like our elders, our forefathers, however, we will take their blessings to proceed further towards the ultimate purpose, right? Like that, we have to approach. And we always should respect the demigods. We don't need to worship the demigods for the material reasons. But we need blessings always of the higher authorities. In that attitude, in that perfect mood, we take the help of Lord Ganesha's blessings on this most auspicious day, and progress in our devotional service in our so that we can be perfect on one day. And Lord will also reciprocate to our uh, unflinching devotion. Okay, Hare Krishna. If there are any questions, please post it in Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. If there are any comments, please explain.
Thank you very much, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
So, we'd like to wish you all a safe and Krishna conscious day and weekend ahead. A weekend of festivity starting from today itself. As Mataji mentioned, it's Ganesh Chaturthi. And these beautiful prayers to Lord Ganesha, Yat Pada Pallava Yugamini Dayakum Bhat Dvandve Pranama Samayasaganati Raja Vigyaya Vyantum Anamasya Jagatrayasha Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. From Brahma Samhita, especially Lord Ganesh, who removes all obstacles in the path of devotional service. And he serves as a scribe for writing Srimad Bhagavatam in Ved Vyas is reciting. So, wonderful festivity today. Also, for our Jain friends, it's Michami Dukadam, where you also beg forgiveness of any offenses which you may have knowingly or unknowingly committed. So on Sunday is Lalita Sasti, the close associate of Srimati Radharani and Lord Krishna. Right, Lalita Sakhi. And on Monday is Radhasmi. Yeah. The internal energy, the Sakti, the Ladini Sakti of Lord of Lord Krishna, from whom all Lakshmi Sahasra Sata Sambrama, all Lakshmi originate, right, from Srimati Radharani. So it's a very special weekend of celebrations. And yeah, we also have Govinda special on all the 3 days. You can avail that. We would like to offer our humble offer our prayers to the Supreme Lord by chanting 3 times. Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama, Hare